This is Update News, weekly news and information program produced by Communication and Journalism Department students at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for Update News. I'm Raina Boydell.
And I'm Samantha Griffin. Coming up today, things are heating up in Ferguson as the city awaits a decision on the shooting of Michael Brown.
And we'll tell you what area homeless shelters are preparing for winter. But first, the Eau Claire Police Department and FBI are investigating a bank robbery at Wells Fargo located at 204 East Grand Avenue in Eau Claire. According to Lieutenant Jim Southworth, police received a call at 10:28 this morning to respond to the bank robbery. Southworth says police are looking for a male suspect in his 30s. The male is between 5'10" and 6 foot and is wearing a black stocking cap, black jacket, and blue jeans. Southworth says Eau Claire police are working with the FBI since the robbery took place at a bank. We'll give you updates throughout the newscast as it becomes available.
President Barack Obama announced this morning an executive order to offer work permits and deportation relief to 5 million immigrants currently residing in the country illegally. The order came up last night just before the Latin Grammys and will allow immigrants in America with children who are legal residents the chance to apply to stay for 3 years, so long as they pass a background check and begin paying taxes. The order will expand relief to those brought to the U.S. illegally as children and promises to give high-skilled workers and college graduates a chance to stay. Conservative lawmakers are pushing to block the order and warn that the order could lead to a government shutdown. This announcement comes barely 2 weeks after midterm elections, where Republicans seized control of the Senate and increased the majority within the House. Republicans are ramping up their opposition to President Obama and his sweeping changes to the nation's immigration system. The GOP says the president's use of an executive order to implement immigration reform is just another case of him overstepping his boundaries of his authority and ignoring the will of the people.
Challenge. We will not stand idle as the president undermines the rule of law in our country and places lives at risk.
Some undocumented immigrants are happy with the president's decision. Others, such as Lorena Palos, criticize him for not doing enough to help them.
I fear that at any point in time, immigration can come, knock on my door, and take my parents with them and leave us here, destroying my family and leaving it completely falling apart.
Palos is protected under President Obama's 2012 order to defer some deportations, which gives children brought to the U.S. by their parents a 2-year reprieve from removal. She wants Obama's executive order to do the same for her parents.
The Republican majority continues to show their disapproval of the Affordable Care Act by filing a lawsuit against President Obama. The U.S. House of Representatives has filed a lawsuit regarding the president's action on health care in an attempt to ramp up their legal case against President Obama. Lawmakers say the president bypassed Congress and the Constitution by using his executive power to tweak the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Obama plans to use these same powers to implement changes to the national immigration system. The GOP.
As Governor Nixon spoke to the crowd of high schoolers, 12 students stood in unison and held up both hands in a sign of surrender. It's the message protesters in Ferguson have conveyed for nearly 3 months. Governor Nixon wasn't alarmed by the students' silent protest. School administrators immediately escorted the group outside of the auditorium. A spokesperson from the district says they broke school policy by defying authority. Authorities are trying to intercept 8 of the 9 packages sent by the Florida State University shooter before being shot and killed by police yesterday. The first of those packages reached its destination today. Authorities say they are unsure of the destinations of the other packages Myron May sent. According to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, letters identified do not appear to pose a threat or contain hazardous items. May opened fire in an FSU library, injuring 3 students. He was shot and killed early Thursday after refusing to put down his weapon.
This time of the year means snuggling up in a warm house with hot chocolate. But for some area residents, winter can mean scrambling to find shelter. Update's Brianne Liga tells us how area homeless shelters are preparing their facilities for winter.
It's kind of hard when you got nowhere to go.
That's what William Clay says about trying to find a place to keep warm in winter after he lost his home 3 years ago. He says he's unsure where he would be if Eau Claire Shelter, Positive Avenues, had not extended their hours on November 1st.
Probably at the library or any place that's open.
Positive Avenues is a shelter for the homeless and mentally ill, located in downtown Eau Claire at 320 Putnam Street. Positive Avenues Community Relations Specialist says they extended the hours to keep the homeless out of the sub-zero temperatures.
So the reason why we chose 8 to 6 is because Sojo's opens at 7, so that kind of gives them about an hour to just wander down there, and that way they're not down or outside for like 3 hours at a time.
Linsmeyer refers to the Sojourner House as Sojo, a shelter located on Barstow Avenue that is open from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. Director Dan Robinson says they have 28 beds for men and 10 beds for women. Robinson says they have an additional 17 recliners, 6 of which are in an overflow room.
Because our mission is to offer them a warm, safe place to sleep.
Robinson says there are as many as 100 people in Eau Claire without shelter, and that winter can leave many without hope to get back on their feet.
And angry is probably the best word to describe what's going on with homeless people in the wintertime in Wisconsin.
Robinson says to help out, people can volunteer and donate scarves, hats, and gloves to area donation centers like King's Closet, located at 310 South Barstow Street, and Acts of Random Kindness on Dewey Street.
One of the better ways to help them is to volunteer and just interact with them and make them feel comfortable, make them feel like human beings, which they are. Donating free items or donating items to these stores that provide them to them for free are another really good way.
For Update News, I'm Brianne Liga.
Stay tuned. After the break, we'll tell you what local stores are preparing for
Cirrus, Glider, and Kite. Graco says it has received 11 reports of finger injuries, including 6 fingertip amputations.
From the record store downtown to the flower shop on the corner, small businesses in Eau Claire have one upcoming day circled on their calendars. And it might not be what you think. Update Scott Schneider has more.
With the holiday season right around the corner, local Eau Claire businesses are trying to get shoppers in their doors with the help of Small Business Saturday. Coming one day after Black Friday and 2 days before Cyber Monday, Small Business Saturday is a day of shopping in support of local small businesses. This year marks the 5th annual Eau Claire celebration of Shopping Small. Mickey Judkins is the CEO of Details on Water Street. She says that Small Business Saturday is one of the biggest days of the year for her store.
This season, starting now with this kickoff, can represent up to 40% of a business's income. So it's a very important part of the season.
Fellow business owner Sandy O'Connell says that Small Business Saturday also helps raise awareness and interest in downtown and Water Street businesses.
It's very important. It keeps us afloat to have Small Business Saturday. It's a wonderful event. It gets people, again, to notice that there are shops on Water Street, that they can shop the shops. They're not too expensive.
In addition to owning Details, Judkins is also a member of the Water Street Merchants Board. According to Judkins, business owners aren't the only ones benefiting from local sales. She says a much larger portion of revenue goes back to the community when people shop locally.
So we've come together and we've made the decision as a bid board, Business Improvement District, to tax ourselves. So we've raised our own taxes to say, let's improve the street. Let's put new plumbing in the street. Let's brick the street. Let's put new lighting. Let's put security lighting on the bike trail.
Apart from Avalon and Details, many other Water Street and downtown area shops will be having seasonal sales beginning as early as Monday and going until Sunday evening. For more information for specific shops and sales, you can go to downtowneauclaire.com or eauclairchamber.org. For Update News, I'm Scott Schneider.
Residents of Buffalo, New York may have survived the snow, but residents aren't in the clear yet. After 3 days of snow brought the total amount of snowfall this season to a staggering 7 feet, the threat of rain and higher temperatures throughout the weekend raised the possibility of floods.
Snow boots, shovels, and mittens are a few things that come with winter, but something that doesn't need to come with winter is a high heating bill. By making a few changes, local renters can save money this winter season.
As temperatures drop, money spent on staying warm usually goes up. And for college students, this means a bigger bill at the end of the month. But by taking some simple measures, students are able to cut those costs down significantly. Clark Barrick is a SCORE educator at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, where educators from the Office of Sustainability go to various college homes to help students save money during the colder months. And according to Barrick,
yeah, I would say sealing windows and doors is the single biggest thing you can do to both save money and energy.
Barrick says in many cases, College students are living in older, much draftier homes, and many of these houses show their age in gaps and cracks.
The nice, hardy houses that the parents live in don't really exist around here, especially for the cost that we're trying to use as students.
Barrick says these gaps, when left unattended, drive up heating costs very rapidly. Barrick says another cost comes from inefficient heating habits, heating a house when no one is around, or sometimes turning the heat off completely.
Which is also a mistake because then there's no heat in there and then you have to reheat everything opposed to starting with a low baseline and heating from there.
Barrick says many students are unaware of the consequences of not maintaining an energy-efficient home due to the inexperience of being a first-time renter.
So they're not going to go out and buy things or spend money on things if they really don't know how to install it or if it actually helps or what's going on, and it's expensive.
Barrick says landlords are aware that many renters are first-time renters and that keeping a flow of communication between the two can save money in the long run.
Who's supposed to buy what, or what's going on, or what can we install, what can't we, all those kind of things.
Barrick says any off-campus student can sign up for the program on the UW Eau Claire website.
After the break, we will have this week's weather report.
This weekend's weather looks like it will have some nice high temperatures mixed with lots of snow. Tonight it will be mostly cloudy with a low around 24. There's a 20% chance of snow mixed with freezing rain. And
the UW Eau Claire Percussion Ensemble is having an experience many hope for but few achieve. That is, performing at an international percussion convention. The UW Eau Claire Percussion Ensemble is kind of a big deal. The ensemble is one of only 5 groups from around the world selected to perform at the Percussive Arts Society International Convention, or PASIC. PASIC is a 4-day convention currently being held in Indianapolis from Wednesday through Saturday. UW Eau Claire Associate Professor of Music and Percussion Director, Jeff Kroll, says being asked to play at the convention is a real honor for the ensemble and an experience that not many percussionists get.
I just think it's nice that we're being recognized for the excellence we do here in this department and at the university. So it gives us a chance to sort of show people what we can do, and I think that's going to be really good because we are really good at what we do. And I know there's a lot of schools like that, but they don't necessarily have the opportunity, so this is kind of like our opportunity.
Senior ensemble member Cassie Vensky says the ensemble is performing a new piece titled Show Us How to Live, composed specifically for them.
We have a really rare opportunity here where the composer wrote a piece for us. And so we've had direct communication with him. We Skyped with him. He answered our questions. He emails us late at night with things. So it's been a really awesome opportunity to be able to work so connected with him and really see his vision for the piece.
Kroll says the composer was inspired by a quote from Andy Warhol that suggests movies show audiences who to be and how to act as a society.
So his idea was, well, what if I showed you guys in a piece through an innovation and notation what to do, how to look when you're doing it, how to feel, your expressions. And so he kind of came up with this idea that, well, I could show you PowerPoint presentations and then they'll cycle through.
Kroll says along with their performance at PASIC, the ensemble members will also be able to attend clinics, watch other performances, and check out instruments in the exhibit hall. Kroll says the event moves locations every 2 years. Next year, it will take place in San Antonio. After the break, our sports anchor Brianne Liga has the latest on
NFL star Adrian Peterson is breaking his silence. In an exclusive interview with USA Today Thursday night, the suspended Minnesota Vikings running back says he is focused on rebuilding his relationship with his 4-year-old son. He's accused of spanking the boy with a switch from a tree. Peterson expressed regret over the incident, vowing never to use a switch to discipline his kids again. The NFL suspended Peterson for at least the remainder of their season on Tuesday, just weeks after he entered a no-contest plea to reckless assault of a child. The players' union is fighting to have his suspension through at least the end of the season dialed back. The NFL has moved to the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills game to 7 p.m. on Monday at Ford Field in Detroit. The game was previously scheduled for 1 p.m. Sunday in Buffalo, but the NFL announced Thursday that it would be moved as another storm.
You have been watching Update News, a weekly news and information production of Communication and Journalism Department students at the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire.